Hi, so today we're going to be building a renovated shotgun house. So let's get started. So originally, the idea for this home came out of my love for Willow Creek. Um, Even though it's like one of the first neighborhoods that we had in The Sims 4, it's still one that I keep coming back to, and I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that I feel like it reminds me a lot of New Orleans, which is some place that I've always wanted to go. I'm really interested in the architecture. Sorry, my words. There. So I wanted a house that was reminiscent of the types of homes that you would find in New Orleans. And so I decided to do a shotgun house, but make it more like a little bit more renovated, as if like maybe someone had remodeled. And typically with the shotgun house, the front door and the back door are aligned with each other, but you'll notice that instead I decided to put in a side door out of the master bedroom. So now I'm moving on to like putting in all of the windows on the outside, and I'm really obsessed right now with the white trim windows with the black trim. I love them so much. So I really wanted to use these windows, and I'm really glad it worked out. And I think it looks really nice with the blue of the house exterior, as well as all of the white accents with the porch. So now I'm moving into the interior, and I started out with the kitchen. And as you'll be able to see, I was really struggling trying to come up with the layout for this. I wanted an island at first because I thought that that would be cute, and like a lot of the newer renovated homes have like an island, but I was really struggling trying to get it to work and trying to get the cabinets to come together. And I also felt like it just was too cramped and made the space too full for, you know, what was going on in the room. So eventually you'll see I'll take those out, and decided on putting in a small glass table with just 2 chairs. I felt like that opened up the space a lot more, especially when you don't have so much to work with. So as you can see, now I'm trying to like lighten up the cabinets. It just felt like the cabinets were way too dark for that space. So I decided to go for a lighter wood, and continue on with the white marble look. I thought that looked really nice. So now I start moving into the bedroom, and this is where I started to really get a feel for the type of sim that might live here. Initially, I had wanted this to be a starter home, and that went out the door quickly once I started adding in things and putting in furniture and everything like that. So instead, I started to think maybe this is a sim who had a bit of money to start out, and they inherited the home from a family member and decided to remodel it. That way, because the home is only about 46K simoleon, so it's not too expensive, but it definitely doesn't count as a starter home. So a lot of the items in here I think speak to a young adult sim. I started also feel like the sim might be very cozy and like warm accents, and I'm really digging the bed that I picked out and like all the nice little touches on the side table. So I really wanted this room to also feel like very like cozy, that it was a place to like relax and unwind. And I really love this chair and I wanted to add it in. So I felt like maybe it was like their grandparents' chair and they wanted to keep it around, and maybe like they read them stories when they were little while they were in like, you know, sitting with them in the chair. So I'm really happy that I was able to add it to the room, and I put down like a little like table with some books there, you know, as a kind of reminder of their grandparents. And once I started adding in the art, things started to really come together. It really started to have a nice flow to it, I think, and it really helped me define the rest of the items that I put in the house later on. Now coming with artwork for this wall was a little bit hard, so I went with one of the, you know, regular paintings that we have. I wish there was more that I could do, and that's usually around the time that I start downloading custom content, but I'm going to be strong and not download any. So now I'm working on the bathroom, which is really small, so it's really easy. I did have to go in when I play tested and move the sink around, so it's a little bit different, as you'll see when the pictures come up, because they weren't able to get into the tub this way. And I really wanted to keep the tub because I felt like, you know, it's a clawfoot tub and it's very stylistic with, you know, older homes. So I thought it would fit, and a lot of people nowadays really like clawfoot tubs. Personally, not my favorite, but that's okay. So now I started to work on the second room. And originally I did want it to be a bedroom, like a bedroom / office. So maybe, you know, they had a roommate, or maybe, you know, like they had a child or a teenager or a guest room, but I just didn't get it to work the way I wanted to. It still looks nice, but eventually I go in and I change everything once I got a better sense of idea of who this house is for. And you can definitely go in, like, it's a really small room, so if you needed to change it up to fit in other Sims, it's definitely doable. Especially now that we have bunk beds, you can fit 2 beds in there and still have room for, you know, toys and, you know, all the things that kids need. So that would be, you'll totally be able to do that as well. Now I'm just going through looking for some more art, and I picked the same art again without even realizing it. I just realized it now, but don't worry, it doesn't stay that way. So that all gets changed eventually, so it's not the same art in both rooms. And now I'm just like playing around with the different rug types and sizes. And I didn't realize that that rug had different swatches to it. So it looks really nice in the room, and I keep that in there. So now I start moving back into the kitchen, and this is where you see me get rid of the island. I didn't like it, and we add in the table to give the room a little bit more space. Now I would really, really love a small round table, a small round glass table. We have a tall one, but that's bar height, and I really want a short one. So this is my plea to please get a small round table, glass countertop table. I would kill. Like, we need more small tables. There are like a bunch of square ones, but not a lot of round ones in a modern style. And it's killing me on the inside a little bit. So now I'm just adding in knickknacks and changing up the lighting a little bit. Trying to get more of a feel of who would live here. I like to design my houses with a sim in mind, so that it helps give the house personality, and it helps, format what style you're going to use for the house. See, and there you see me, I tried to find a table and it just didn't work out. I really love this little side table. I think it's from Tiny Home. I love it so much. So now I'm working on the accent wall, and I really wanted this to be a focus because it ties both the living room and the kitchen dining areas together. And it was really hard for me to find like artwork that I liked. And so I started going through all of the things, and eventually I find some stuff like the menu board and some other little things. But then I got really excited when I started to remember that we had wall art with like coffee pots and kettles and everything. So I started to think that maybe the sim like really loves coffee and that kitschy kind of style. So I put up like the sun and the little cow and the little pig thing, trying to give it a little nice touch. And then I put like the coffee picture to like match. Eventually I do get rid of the tablet, the chalkboard. My words, I'm sorry. So I get rid of that and I put in another piece of art because when I was playtesting, I realized that that piece of art was like the one thing from one pack, and it just didn't make sense, so I just took it out. Now I'm just adding some knickknacks to make the house feel like it's lived in and it's a home. I also change out that little vase of lemons, I think it is, eventually. So this is when I really got excited, because I found this piece of art and it just, like, I started to think, well, maybe this person is also an artist and this is their artwork. And so that kind of, informed the entire rest of the build. So I'm trying to figure out what to do in this hallway, and then, the art stuff is starting to kick in my head, and eventually we put down an easel, and I put like a little, the little poof goes down, and I put down the live cam recording camera so that they could paint, while they're painting, they can stream or record videos of them painting. And I wanted these pictures up because I felt like maybe they were reminiscent of the town, but I realized they were more for Windenburg, so I took them down. And that art piece, eventually, I took that down as well because I found the paintings that you could lean on the floor, and I decided to put those down. So once I had the idea that they would be streaming their artwork, this whole office changed altogether. I put in the recording software studio. I really wish it worked as a regular computer, because then I wouldn't have to put down another desk. But so we wound up, I put down some more art for her, so like when she's streaming you can see her artwork in the background. And then I added in a desk with another computer so that she has a place to like post on her blogs or check out things, answer her emails, you know, and all that kind of stuff. And I was still trying, like I didn't give her a full-on computer because I was still trying to be economical with spending, because I didn't want it to go, like at this point I knew that it wasn't going to be a starter home anymore, but I also didn't want it to be, you know, a ridiculous amount of money as well, because this neighborhood that she's in is still, it's the starting neighborhood, so I still wanted it to be reasonable. So now I'm starting to work on the landscaping, which turned out really well, and I'm really excited with how it looked. I didn't go too overboard with it because I still, like I said, I wanted it to blend in with the neighborhood, and I tried to match the trees and the flowers and everything to everything that you see around the neighborhood. So I didn't get, like I said, too crazy with the flowers, but I did still want it to look full. So I added in these bushes on the side, just around, you know, the corners, just to give it a little bit more oomph, a little bit more life, so that it looks more lived in. But then I was trying to figure out, well, because this is the porch area, there should be a little bit something more in that space. So after I put in the flowers here by the tree, I try to figure out what I can do over here by that little empty space that I left. And what you won't see in this build, unfortunately, is I went back in and built a little yoga area over here on the porch, and I think with that, and you'll see it in the pictures, I think with that and the flower placement, it looks really great, and it's like a nice relaxing place for your sim. So now I'm going in and just putting in, you know, a few more items on the porch. You definitely have to have a bench to sit and talk and gossip and look at the neighbors. You know, that's a very, you know, southern thing. We don't have porches where I'm at a lot, so I just, you know, I just decided to go with that, and I just added a few little touches still to make the house feel lived in. And so I also added in the vertical garden spaces because I wanted to give her space to garden. I feel like this sim would be into that kind of thing. Like, you know, but on a small level. Not like a full-on garden, but, you know, maybe some fruits, a few herbs and spices, but nothing like ridiculous. So it's just a small little garden for them that they can come out and water so they feel like they've done something and they've accomplished everything. So we're almost towards the end. I just throw in some grass, and that's the end. I hope you enjoy. If you've made it this far in the video, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel, and comment down below of any styles of houses that you like. I'd like to be able to build some things for you guys. So have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.